Sometimes the emotional pain one goes through is almost unbearable. And as human beings, it is not easy to forgive. I want to share with you 3 steps that will make forgiveness easier for you. Step number 1, analyze the offender. There is need to analyze the offender very well. That is, the person who did whatever to hurt you. Luke chapter 23 verse 34 gives us an example of Jesus analyzing the offenders. He said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do." As the people were killing and destroying him, he looked at them and said, "Father, forgive them." If you analyze the offender, you will realize that although he or she is doing evil, they may not be fully aware of the implications of their actions. As soon as you analyze it this way, it will help you to relate well with whoever offends you. Learn to make excuses for people. Jesus made excuses for his own murderers. Perhaps your offender is sick, ignorant, or confused. If you are able to analyze those who offend you in this way, it will help you to understand why a person behaves in a particular way. Otherwise, you can never forgive. Step number 2, analyze your past sins. When you analyze your past sins, you will find out that you will not be so hasty to judge anybody. This is because you might have done the same thing or something worse before. Probably you might have acted the same way if you had been confronted with the same issue. Galatians chapter 6 verse 1 cautions, "If a man be overtaken in a fault, you who are spiritual, restore such a one in the spirit of meekness, considering yourself, lest you also be tempted." When you consider yourself, you will be more willing to forgive. When you think about your past sins, you will realize that you are not any better. In the time of Jesus, some people who felt they were holier brought a woman who had been caught in adultery. They wanted to punish her by stoning her. Jesus, who understood this principle of analyzing people's past, asked for any man who had not sinned to throw the first stone. No one dared throw a stone because they all knew they had past sins. As a person who's born again, you should be forgiven, especially when unbelievers offend you. Just remember what you did as an unbeliever. If it had not been for Christ, perhaps you would have done worse things. So analyze your past when you find it difficult to forgive your neighbor. Finally, analyze the outcome. Out of jealousy and hatred, Joseph's brothers sold him into slavery. After 30 years, God raised him from prison to become the prime minister of Egypt. Unaware of this new identity, his brothers came to him for help during a severe famine. Later, Joseph revealed himself to them. With remorse, they fell down and begged him to be merciful to them. Joseph forgave them when he analyzed the outcome of their misconduct. Genesis chapter 45, verses 5, 7, and 8. He said, "Don't be grieved, nor angry with yourselves, that you sold me here. For God did send me before you to preserve life, to preserve you a posterity in the earth, and to save your lives. It was not you that sent me here, but God." Sometimes when you analyze the way things have turned out, or the way things are going to turn out, you can easily forgive.